picky. Mine still is. Should I stop it?
No. I probably accidentally hit stop or something.
When did you accidentally hit stop? In your excitement, you did.
It's my excitement. Thank God we weren't talking about this movie? Question mark?
Well, I need to know, did you...
Well, first of all, I think we should welcome and thank all of our wonderful Patreons for being here.
Yes.
Patrons for being here and supporting us.
Our P. Diddies? Can we call them our P. Diddies?
I think that makes a lot of sense.
That's where I'm going to put it.
And, I mean, they're supporting us, and they're here with us to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, He-Man.
No, they were born together. They're twins. So it's Adam and Aurora. Adam and Aurora, right? They have these powers to be Hera or He-Man and She-Ra. I did that before, too. He-Man and She-Ra.
If they were an item like a Benefer, that's what they would be called. Hero.
Don't they feel like they are an item? I know they're siblings. I know they're twins. But at times and it's just a cartoon, but there's some sexual tension there. Am I right?
There's an upsetting amount of sexual tension between these two. The amount of times that they say things like brother and sister, I am uncomfortable watching this interaction between cartoon
and they're
characters.
barely clothed. They're like scantily clothed and like very
Nobody
fit.
is wearing clothes in this cartoon.
Orko is. Orko's got like a full robe and when he appears in front of children who have been set, they don't even question what this weird floating wizard thing is. They're just like, you have a spaceship? Sure. Our parents let us pick our tree out here in the wilderness by ourselves.
Yeah, we'll go into your spaceship. That sounds like a great idea. I love how the kids are all panicked like, wait, we can't go home for 5 days? What about Christmas? No, what about your family? What about everything else?
Where do they think you are? What does it take? Maybe it takes 5 days because that's the other random thing. They're just two kids out in the Alaskan wilderness. Where are they looking for their Christmas tree when the avalanche happens?
The biggest reveal of this movie is that I think at the end these kids are Chilean or something. I don't think these are American children. Did you see how, and I don't want to say how Hispanic their parents are, but...
Well, it was Alicia and Miguel. Those were their names, right? But we're a little ahead of ourselves. We don't even meet...
snowing. It doesn't snow in Mexico, right? So they have to be either South American or they are immigrants.
I thought they were the Alaskan people, like little... They kind of have
little Inuit children?
Sure.
Oh, named Miguel.
Listen, the names for everybody, Perfuma, and I forgot the names.
Perfuma?
That's one of her.
Flutterina? One is called Peekaboo.
She reveals to them where everyone is. Peekaboo will tell us. What about the ship?
Her peacock feathers to see into other realms or whatever. My God, this is crazy. Jamie, did you, and I mean, we're burying the lead that this is a cartoon meant to sell toys, but did you watch He-Man? Did you have a She-Ra action figure? Any of this? Anything?
So I definitely remember I think you've even seen, I had my collection of VHS tapes. I brought some to college with me. And on one of my VHS tapes collections that my mom had taped off of the TV, as you would do with her, we had this special. I remember seeing it in her handwriting on the side of the VHS tape. I remember parts of it. I mean, I think I've definitely watched He-Man and She-Ra. My brother had the Castle Grayskull and he had the He-Man dolls. I was never a big She-Ra fan. I don't think it was, I guess I liked the Hug-a-Bunch better. I don't know.
They're very different.
Right. But we did used to play, I didn't remember that guy's name was Man at Arms. That was his name?
Man at Arms. Their names are great because there was a guy called Many Faces.
And he had many
little thing on his-
faces. Yeah.
Like you could turn it and he'd be angry and then kind of happy.
And my brother had
And just-
that. My brother had that figurine because his face would flip. So they were fun to play with, and the Castle Grayskull was really cool. I thought I watched it, but when I saw it again, I was like, wow, I don't remember it being this. Like,
it
with the
looked
weird
so foreign
fairies
to
and
me.
it was very oddly animated. I guess now I don't watch that show. There's a animated.
Like this?
No, it's not like He-Man.
Oh.
No.
I was going to say, there's nothing like this, right?
No. Anyway, so had you seen He-Man? Did you have the Castle Grayskull?
Oh, yeah, I had that. I mean, it was like, there was He-Man, there were Transformers, and there were G.I. Joes, and then there were Star Wars, which wasn't like really made to sell toys, but I was all in on Star Wars, and the rest I just had bits and pieces of all of it.
Okay. So you maybe had a Skeletor doll or something?
I had He-Man, I had Skeletor, I had some of the bad guys, but this, I had never seen this. I had never ever seen this. No, this was, and I feel like it was more, I think, from what I remember about He-Man, I think this was more She-Ra heavy than He-Man.
Oh, well, all right.
Like, very early on, Skeletor, like, ejects all of his henchmen out of a ship, and we never see any of those people again, true. And I really... Like, that was my favorite part of He-Man, were all the bad guys.
Oh, and he had those, one of his henchmen sound like Speak and Spell. They had like a Speak and Spell kind of a voice. And then he had
like
the two-headed guy.
Yeah, like the conjoined twins.
Yes.
And there was like a wolf, like a beast. I think it was called Beast Man. Literally, Beast Man.
Well, that's what the bad things are called. The bad things are like the rocket that spies on Skeletor's ship is called Spy.
So I love how they're excited that they have this satellite that is now just, I guess, going to keep tabs on Skeletor and study his every move. Everything about this seems weird. And Jamie, why do He-Man and She-Ra need to have these alter egos? Like, why can't they just be He-Man and She-Ra? They're not protecting anyone.
See, there was more of a story if you watch the show, and that's what I wanted to have some time to research because I couldn't recall it on my own. What is their backstory? So where did they get these powers? Are they just, like, divinely, they found these swords and that's how they know? Because her sword can become all kinds of things. And she does it by the honor of Grayskull.
Right.
Is how she becomes She-Ra, and he is by the power of Grayskull. So she is honoring Grayskull, and he's empowered by it. And who is the Grayskull?
And also, do they live together? Or is she... Because
their relationship is strange. Their relationship is bizarre.
Right, like...
For brother and sister, as
well,
you said.
He lives in Eternia, right?
Mm.
And she is from Etheria?
Uh-huh.
Is that right? Did I get all this?
I think you're
so
right.
I'm wondering, like, did she... But they're twins, so they were both born in Eternia. Mm-hmm. So did she then, as kings and queens and princes and princesses do, did she marry out into another land?
I don't know that
and
she's
is
married.
Etheria a different planet or just part of the same
I
planet?
I think those are all part of the same planet. I think, but I don't know because they travel throughout the universe. Like, where's Skeletor located? And now there's the big bad guy. What's his name? That's Skeletor and the other guy. Yeah.
All of their names are so spot on. All of their names are just like it's all, I don't know, like evil, prime evil, right? Is that it? Or horde, horde prime? Is that right?
Horde prime. Yeah.
I don't even.
I think you're right.
And that was a character that I was unfamiliar with. Like, I didn't know when this Because in He-Man, the big bad guy was Skeletor. I never knew that he had a
Skeletor,
boss.
sure. Well, he reports to somebody, right? Every bad guy does.
You know what I'm glad about is that at the beginning we get a voiceover that's He-Man and She-Ra's birthday, and I was like, oh, do they share a birthday with Jesus? And then later on it's like, no, because later on they're like, Christmas is like 5 days away.
Oh, okay,
but
okay.
today is He-Man and She-Ra's birthday because the kids are so distressed.
So that's what they're setting up for, by the way. When we open the show, right? They're setting up for...
I can't believe we watched this.
When we open the movie, and it's sort of this magical kingdom happening, and everyone is so excited about decorating. Like, every character in this movie just wants to decorate for the big birthday party.
Who is that guy who later is... plays
the song?
He's like...
I think his name was like Harpy or something like that.
Like,
I don't know.
He just looks like a Chippendale dancer. Just
they all do.
wandered
What
in.
about in the first? I'll call it the first scene that we see Adam, aka He-Man. He's like in purple tights with like a pink onesie. Like who?
My favorite thing is how he and the little girl that they find have the same haircut.
Whose voice is that, by the way? Is it like, it sounds like a Brady? It's not.
But it is such a classic 80s cartoon voice. I've heard that voice a million times.
Who?
And he's got a different voice as He-Man, right? Like, that's a different person doing the voice, right?
Yes.
Because it's deeper, it's stronger, it's more masculine, or is it that guy like putting on some nerdy voice when he's Prince Adam?
Maybe he's nerding out as Prince Adam. Oh, I don't know. But their whole get-ups and their looks. They're a very fit kingdom, let's say that. And they're cartoons.
A guy who has a skull for a head is just ripped. He is jacked.
Is it Man at Arms?
Man at Arms. He's like Prince Adam's Man at Arms. He's like his bodyguard, basically.
Okay.
Well, wait. Before we're even there, and again, we're like 30 seconds into this.
Yeah.
I am even more confused because their mother comes out and she's like, oh, you know what? All these decorations remind me of Christmas. And their dad's like, what is Christmas? Is that an earthling holiday? And that made me think, is their mom from Earth? Was she
like, knows about it, yeah.
from Earth and married into this? Or like, I don't know. It felt very Scientology. Like, isn't that the Scientologist thing? Like, aliens came and they like planted people here in a mountain or whatever. Are they part Earthling? I don't know what's going on.
See, I don't know. I'm pretty sure He-Man and She-Ra, and this is what I wanted to study up on. I'm pretty sure they on their own shows have a backstory about where they're from, right. And whether, because they're Aurora and Adam are clearly maybe the human side of them, and He-Man and She-Ra are the what is their planet name?
Oh, I thought you were going to start to talk about the ego and the id. I was like, Jamie.
Oh, I'm not getting that deep. No, wow. Not with He-Man and She-Ra. Right. Although I suppose you could, but I won't. No.
Right, yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. Whoever names the things in this. Okay, look.
Well, whoever names the things in this is probably the same person who names the things in Strawberry Shortcake. And it's like Huckleberry Pie and Blueberry Sunshine and Rainbow Surprise, because it's the same stupid nonsense. People are named after what they look like or what they do.
What they do, right. What's her horse's name? Her horse has...
And her horse talks like, what's going on, Sheila?
Her horse is a bad mamma jamma.
I did not expect that horse to have that voice.
I agree. I have to tell you, I didn't expect the horse to talk. When the horse talks back, and I'm like, oh, all right, now here we go.
And one of my favorite parts of the original He-Man was that he had this cat that turned into
Oh yeah,
like a
the cat wasn't
monstrous
there.
thing. It was never in this.
You never saw that guy. That's
No.
right. You're right. Then I guess it was a little more She-Ra. She-Ra.
Well, I
She-Ra.
think, and in doing the least amount of research as possible, I think He-Man. I think this was the end of He-Man. I feel like He-Man ran.
Oh, is this passing the torch? Maybe to She-Ra?
I think He-Man was like 83 to 85, and then She-Ra was 85 to 87. So I feel like maybe this was the transition.
Okay.
But it didn't seem to be introducing She-Ra. Like, it seemed to be, we should already know who she is.
Well, I don't know how she was. Maybe she was introduced somewhat in the show.
I don't know.
She must have been.
We can't get into it because we
You know
don't
what?
know.
We're confused. All we could talk about is what we
I'm
saw.
so confused. We're a minute into this 45-minute TV special, and we don't know what's happening.
Well,
so you're right. He-Man and Man-at-Arms are repairing a satellite so that they can track Skeletor's every move.
Yes.
And
the satellite is called Spy Spy. That's
Spy,
right?
because Orko does a little magic later, and every time he does magic, it's awful.
So what is Orko?
I don't know.
He's like this floating
alien. I mean, I don't.
He's shapeless, basically. He's like this.
Yeah,
I remember him. I didn't remember his name until they said it. I was like, oh yeah, the O guy, and then I was like, oh yeah, Orko, right?
But you're right. These kids see basically a floating torso later with no face. There's just it's a robe and a hat and then eyes, and they're not alarmed by this thing. But I guess he's like a harmless little imp or whatever.
But so are the machines. What are the other things? Wait, what are the two?
No, that is Charlie Sheen's nickname.
How cute and cuddly, though, are those little things? Are they the machines?
Oh, those things that have like a Cabbage Patch Kid's face on like a lobster, like a robotic lobster body.
Like, I'm not afraid of them. If they take over the world, that's adorable. Those other big machine things that are like Transformer things. Those I'm a little.
Those things are like 8 stories tall. Of course, they're terrifying. Those other things.
But He-Man is so strong. He-Man is so freaking strong, isn't he?
This is your takeaway from this show. Oh my God. All right. Okay. Let's get into we can talk about how strong He-Man is for days. Let's get into the plot of this nonsense. So they set up this satellite, they repair it, and Orko's kind of like hiding, and then he wants to like check it out. Like, I wonder what this thing is.
Right. He goes inside, he's fidgeting with some of the handles and everything, sure.
Right. And
then all of a sudden
it just takes off. It just launches. He hits a button. It launches. He-Man and Man-at-Arms are in a control room. They're like, what's happening?
They're so confused. Well, that's not supposed to take off till tomorrow.
Right.
They were just testing it. They were just inside. They have no idea that Orko is in there, right? They don't know where that little wizardy creature is. And they just think there's some sort of malfunction. And that Spy Spy has taken off on its own.
Spy! God. And it basically just flies through the opening credits with Orko freaking out. Did you notice there were 2 directors for this?
Oh. Well, I guess depending on...
Do you think one had some pretty sexy ideas? And they're like, sorry, buddy.
This is a kid's cartoon, yeah.
We can't redraw clothes on these people. It's already too late. All we can do is re-record the voices to make this more kid-friendly. So Skeletor notices that this satellite is launched, and he decides to like chase it with his ship.
He goes on his scooter. Is it his ship? Oh no, he does.
It's
go
his
with
ship
because
this is when he has all of his buddies and
that's right.
henchmen
And this
there.
is the scary looking Skeletor ship, right? Doesn't it have a?
Right.
Right, Skeletor.
So they start to chase the satellite. Orko's freaking out. He-Man decides to become He-Man to save the day.
Sure.
And he goes up to the ship and he starts like fighting things and everything. And this is the point where one of Skeletor's men was like, "Shh, quiet, he'll hear us." And I'm like, "You're inside the ship that he's destroying."
They freak out when they see that it's He-Man that's there, right? Because it's the all-powerful He-Man. And he's not only breaking shit, like his... Isn't this when Skeletor's ship, like these like metal snake-like things come to attack He-Man?
Yeah, they're like snake arms. Everything's robotic. For as many aliens and conjoined monsters and blue people and a woman who's like a fairy but also a peacock, like everything. You're
not talking about Mermaidia, are you?
Oh no. We haven't met her yet. Where she somehow gets from like this pristine lagoon to something that looks like a toxic waste dump.
She's like, I found it. I found whatever.
All the rivers and streams must just all connect in this land. Oh. No, but he quickly, He-Man gets in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Because they shoot out these like cables that wrap around him.
And he thinks he's okay. How about their little comments? Like,
everything
he
is
and
quipping.
She-Ra, yes, every time they fight, they have these like puns or these little like, right? Every time they're in trouble, it's like, oh.
But none of them were good enough for me to write down.
No, I don't know if I wrote any down. I'll let you know if I do. But they do these terrible like, I can't even.
No, it's all nonsense, but they constantly talk through the fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So he seems to be captured, but luckily, She-Ra shows up on that.
Well, she knew Pegasus. To come, of course. She knew to come. Yeah, right. She had the honor of Grayskull behind her. She thought maybe her brother would be in trouble. It's only right.
And they pretty much just like beat up and destroy the ship in no time at all.
Well, she's got a magical sword. He's super strong. Like, it doesn't take much.
Right.
She rides her Pegasus. He rides some kind of air scooter thing, right?
Oh, that air scooter. That was the first part where I was like, where's that cat that he normally rides?
See, the cat, you're right. I didn't think of it, but you're right.
I think his name was Battle Cat. Like, literally, it was just called Battle Cat.
Because he's ready for battle. He's my battle cat.
So Orko also tries to do magic at this point where he says, spies... I wrote this down because it's nonsense. He says, "Sky spy, skiffity skafe, take me down to someplace safe." And he's surprised it doesn't work. And I'm thinking, you didn't say real words. Like that's not a spell.
But this is when he then lands in like Alaska, right?
He just disappears, and they all seem like, well, that was weird. They don't seem that concerned that it's gone until they realize that Orko was on it.
That's true. And they do. What do they have? I think they have a find system to find Orko.
I'm sure it's called the Find Finder. The Sky Find Finder.
Orko does though. He lands on Earth, right? That's where he lands.
Yeah. He lands on Earth,
and these two children, we've mentioned them before, Alicia and Miguel. My big question was, how did the kids not know it's freaking weird when this Orko thing appears in front of them, does a spell that stops the avalanche from hitting them? And then I wonder, now let me ask you, you have children, you're celebrating the Christmas holiday.
How many times have I sent them out for a treat?
Just by themselves, just go out there into the wilderness, kids. Here's a sled. We'll check on you in the next 5 days.
Here's a sled. Here's a saw. Have at it. Whatever. Family tree. Go for it. You gonna bring?
I trust your judgment.
Yeah.
I trust your.
7 to 9 feet. You guys got this, right?
Where the hell is their family? And then when this weird alien creature, magician, wizard thing comes and appears in front of them,
Yeah.
Why do they want to check out his?
What? And it's not.
His-
It's not even that they're just out looking for a tree. It's that they were out looking for a tree and now they're lost, which is
Sure.
equally terrifying.
But they're not very terrified. They're excited.
No,
They have a
seem
new friend
okay
to
with
tell
this.
the tales
Yeah.
of Christmas about. He's curious. He wants to know what they're up to and what their Christmas is all about.
I want to hear this explanation from these kids.
It's about joy and giving. It's about presents, really, the bottom line.
It's amazing because he wants to know about Christmas, and the kids go way back when, and then we fade out. We fade out. We go back to eternity, back to He-Man for 3 seconds, and then we come back, and they're like, and then 3 wise men saw a star, and I'm like, what the hell's happening? Because at the end of this, Orko, whatever his name is, goes, so who's this Santa character? And I'm like, I want to see these children marry religion and Santa in this conversation.
I want to hear the
to
tale.
Orko.
I want them to weave it. I know. They give we get the very broad strokes of what, right? Of what the kids say
Yes.
Christmas is.
Yeah. I was just not prepared for the religious aspect of the early explanation.
Well, and they do get into that, which
Yes.
is interesting to have it presented by them.
Please, it's even more interesting when we get the very end of this, where it's basically He-Man looking at the camera going, we had a good time tonight, everybody.
Yeah.
That is crazy. That is the craziest way to end this movie or whatever this thing is He-Man being like, but you know what? Some people don't celebrate Christmas, and that's okay. I'm like,
But it was all
what's
good,
going
yeah.
on?
He's just wrapping things up.
Oh,
He's putting
it's amazing
things
because
in a
I'm like,
nice
was this
little.
just a story that he was telling Orko?
It's a year of their birthday celebration. The year they got the human visitors. That's what it is. From Earth.
Oh my god! So
It is wrapped up rather. Like, all right, here we go.
It is, and I broke my notes up. I don't know how you did your notes, but I did my notes in thirds.
Okay.
Every 15 minutes, I kind of just like. You could tell there was like a shift in what was happening. I was like,
Well,
oh,
there was
okay.
commercial breaks. I think it was a made-for-TV, right? Because I think there was definitely
there's
like
this was not theatrically released.
no.
No. This is definitely a TV movie, and there were clear commercial. I love the commercial breaks because
Me
it was
too.
just that fade, that slow fade to black that you knew.
Mhm.
Oh, there was a commercial here.
And then you were ready. Like you said, you kind of took
Yeah.
it in apart. You're like, okay, what's the next gonna bring? What do we got happening next? So we know that Orko is lost and in
Mhm.
the Spy. We know that it is Adam and Aurora's birthday coming up. We know that Skeletor is mad, but he always is, right?
Right.
And Orko has met up with some Earthling children, and they've told him about the tales of Christmas, right? That's what
I
we
like
know
how
so
you're
far.
recapping this as though we just came back from a commercial break right now.
Well, so now moving on from our commercial break, an update is now they've located where Spy is, and now, like you said,
Right.
for a minute, there's really not concern that the shuttle is gone. There's more they get more concerned when they realize Orko is in it, right?
Right, which I don't I don't get. Orko's super annoying. He's not a big loss. I mean, I'm not saying leave him on Earth. That sounds terrible, but he's really irritating.
Well, he did get himself into this bit of trouble, but he is a wizard and he's kind of endearing because they do love him when he comes back.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they're happy to see him. They're glad he's safe. And really, the mission isn't so much about getting the Spy back. It's about getting Orko back.
Sorry, I just saw in my notes. Her horse's name is Swifty.
Oh, that's right. For Swift Wind? I think Swift Wind is the full
Sure.
name, and she calls it Swifty.
He has a full name. Nice. Yeah, so She-Ra, at this point, this is where they realize that to get the ship back, they need a crystal.
Oh, yeah. They need the crystal, the carium, what's it called? The chrysanthemum water or something like that?
Don't know. But it's guarded by a big evil monster.
Yeah. Literally, I think its name is Evil Monster or like Big Scary Beast or something, right?
And She-Ra finds this out when she deals with a mermaid who has a French accent.
The salty mermaid, as I called her. Oh, what do you want to know? I'm so sexy. I'm just a cartoon. My name is Mermaidista.
This was something that kids watched and enjoyed.
Yeah, and they were made to... Did it at times remind you of getting names of things tonight?
I don't know. What, like another cartoon?
No, a movie that we did with...
Oh.
that we did for the podcast. With
Were there mermaids?
with Bridget Nielsen.
It's like Bridget Jones. Oh no, yes, no. She-Ra is Red Sonja, right? Like She-Ra is Red Sonja. He-Man is Conan. Like that is yes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. There's no. Right. They did just enough not to be sued to make these cartoon characters.
Right. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so the crystal is what they need in order to activate the transport beam, right?
Sure.
The finder beam knows that Orko is on Earth. Now we have to get the transport beam activated so we can transport Orko back to Eternia.
Yeah, and I do love how later they say things like, "Oh, I hope Orko knows to move to the light." I'm like, wait, was this something you told him, like, Orko, in case you ever get into this and get transported to Earth,
when he sees it,
a light is going to appear.
When he sees the light, he says, "Oh, that's the light." I don't know why he decides it's important to bring the children with him, and why they're like, "This strange alien wants us to walk into the light."
I have no idea too, because also it doesn't make sense because the light, they have to walk into the light for the whole ship to come to. It's not,
everything.
It's not like
and the thing outside the ship. What's the thing outside the ship that comes with them? It's the kids' thing. Oh, what is it?
Oh, I don't know.
There's something outside the ship that comes too, and I was like, really?
I don't know. Oh my God, I want to get into the kids' jackets later. I want to talk about that dog. I am so excited about this.
It's
because the lead up, I have to say if you have any interest in watching this, first of all, if you want to watch
this. It's so
this,
quick. You should just watch
it's 45 minutes. If you don't want to do that, like, watch the last 20 minutes. You will be rewarded.
Handsomely.
This stuff here where She-Ra fights a big monster, like a dragon thing. This is nonsense. It's
like a dinosaur. Is it a dragon or is it more
I don't know. Once the kids are repeatedly kidnapped, that's when this is so much fun. So skip the first 15 to 20 minutes.
Repeatedly kidnapped because they really are.
It literally
people just keep taking them
during every fight. They're like, kids, stand over there, and then a bad
go
guy
with that guy.
them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and for what? For why does the bad guy, Skeletor guy, want the kids?
Because he senses goodness.
Oh, that's right. And Skeletor himself, that's right.
Right.
It's the downfall of Skeletor when he's like, I don't know what I am feeling, but I feel good, and I don't like a good feeling. What do you mean I'm being nice?
He is so great in that. Like, I came out of this going, I'm pretty much a Skeletor fan. Because
you are.
When that dog is licking his face, and he's like, this dog keeps licking me, and the kids are like, we can hold him, and he goes, no, we can move faster if I keep holding him. Like,
it's like Tom Hanks with Hooch.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, Skeletor, you love that dog. Your cold heart is melting. This is so adorable.
Yeah.
He makes coats for these kids.
He does. All right, fine. You're so cold. I'm Skeletor. I don't like feeling this way.
And when they call him Mr. Skeletor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right, let's get through this.
Why did I write down this? Dingle spell, jingle spell? I know why.
What?
It's Orko when he's talking to the kids. The kids know the song Jingle Bells, I guess, and he's like, Dingle spell?
When does this happen?
It happens right before She-Ra talks to the Salty Mermaid.
Oh, all right, okay. So She-Ra heads to
time.
some sort of dark, dilapidated temple, and she encounters like a big giant dragon monster that's protecting this orb.
I guess this is from the show. Again, I don't remember, and it's very 80s. Like when she comes out or when she's about to do something, it's like her transition into being the all-powerful She-Ra.
Yeah.
It goes, She-Ra, She-Ra, She-Ra. Like,
It's not a great song. You're just talking about the song that plays while she's transforming. She-Ra, 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 and that's it. It just goes on and on like that. Yeah, it's like Gem, but there's no other lyrics. Right.
Anyway. How about that? Okay.
So she beats up this monster, and in the meantime, her mermaid friend grabs this crystal that they need, and her horse. Oh, I said her horse sounds like a badass monster.
He does.
Yeah. So they get this, and suddenly there's a group of giant robots.
Oh yeah, these are the Machines, right?
No, nothing is called a machine. That is again Charlie Sheen's nickname, because remember, he used to do so many drugs and nobody understood why he could stay up all night. They were like, "You are such a machine." These are called the Monstroids.
Oh, okay.
But you're right in that they're pretty much just Transformers.
Okay.
And they like trap her in like a glass bubble.
Yeah, they kind of encapsulate her, right?
Right. And then she cuts her way out because her sword can turn into like fire.
She just tells it what to be.
Yeah,
she's like,
she
sword,
says to her horse, she's like,
"You're a lasso.
Stand back! It's gonna get pretty hot in here." And then it's a fire sword, and she cuts a hole, and then does like a roundhouse kick
to push them all out. She's like, "Watch me go!" Right?
Yep. Once they have that, this is where, as we explained, light appears in front of Orko and these children.
Right. And they have to follow the light.
Right. And Orko
to get beamed.
Drags these kids. He's like, "Hey, kids, hold my hands. We got to go into this
They
light."
go with them. They're like, "Oh, or that weird thing, goblin guy is going into the light. We'll follow him.
Let's just follow this guy." And they are transported to Eternia.
Woo!
They leave Earth. They leave their family. I guess they never got a tree. All that stuff is gone.
No, we don't know what happened to their tree, right? Yeah. And there they are. And they're not that, like...
they're not upset.
They're not that upset. They're not that scared that they're in this weird land where they get sort of swooned by the kingdom, right? Isn't this when Perfumia...
I feel like this is a thing, and it is a trope with kids in movies and TV shows and stuff like that. Because I even see it now, like with my kids. Like we watched the series of unfortunate events, like the Netflix one, which was really great. But the kids never seem all that bothered by these horrible traumatic events and being thrown into weird situations. And even like the girl from the Hug-a-Bunch, she went into this weird baby doll land.
Yeah, that's true.
And she's
that's
like,
true.
"I don't know, whatever. It's an evil queen. I'm not that bothered by any of the upside down world." Like, I'm not going to fault these kids too much. I'm going to fault their parents for being like, "Oh, you went to a new planet. That sounds... You know what? Tell us about that tomorrow, okay?"
Yeah.
The parents are the true monsters of this film.
You're right. How about some concern? How about, what are you talking about? Where have you been?
You went to a planet with a bunch of half-naked people. They're not going directly to the police and being like, "We're pretty sure our children were molested."
Some bad news bears happened down here, and we got to get to the bottom of this. Well, they weren't, though. P.S. They just were going because... So they decided on... Because this new planet that they found has now been inspired by these children, this arrival of the children, to celebrate not only the birthday of the planet's famed twins, Adam and Aurora, but let's also take this opportunity to celebrate Christmas.
That's right.
Because like you said, their mom is apparently half human anyway, or half earthling, whatever. So
where did they get a Santa suit at the end of this thing? Like,
how creepy and weird is it that they make He-Man dress up as Santa? Like, this is a fantasy kind of show. Like, she's riding a unicorn or Pegasus. Why don't they just have Santa show up? Like the real Santa. Why do they have to?
I'll take these kids back home. Don't worry about it. Like, that would have
Go
been
before
better.
my sleigh! No.
You know what?
No.
Actually, that would have been a better ending. Like, if the means to send
that
these...
would have been a Christmas ending,
right.
Not a He-Man She-Ra
exactly.
ending. Yeah.
The means to send these children back were destroyed in a fight or whatever, and they're like, "Oh no,
right.
You'll never get back!" And suddenly, Santa and a bunch of
the
reindeer
real
burst
Santa
through the
right.
door and take the kids home. That would be amazing.
But that didn't happen here.
It's Adam dressed up as Santa.
And not even good. It's clearly like Adam, and even the way they draw him, he's like this, like he's like the guy from. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's amazing too, because at the end, even She-Ra goes like, "All right, brother," and she pulls down his beard, and his reaction is amazing because it's like, "Ho ho! Oh, you knew the whole time, huh?" Everyone did.
Ay, caramba.
So, all right. So,
wait. Before we get too carried away, because we're all over the map with this, but okay. The kids, when they arrive in Etheria, right? And now
or
everyone
Eternia.
decides.
I don't know if we're
Eternia.
in Eternia or Etheria.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter.
You're right. No, we're in Eternia. So when the kids get to Eternia and the Eternia decides, oh, now we're not only going to celebrate Christmas or the birthday, we're going to also celebrate Christmas. The children are here. Yay. Now the children sort of get treated to a day in Eternia where Perfuma does a little show because she could not only make things smell good, but she can change by way of her name, but she can change the seasons. And she makes springtime happen. And the children are like, it's Christmas. It's not springtime. It should be winter. So she does that. She makes a beautiful winter scene happen. And then that weird harpy guy.
I just love the fact that the animation is so lazy. And if you've seen He-Man, you know how bad it is. But when she makes it spring, there's all these flowers. And the kids are like, no, it's winter. So then she makes it winter and it's snow, but the flowers aren't gone. There's just
it's
giant,
just snowy.
No, there's just giant poinsettias superimposed over top of the flowers. It is amazing because I was like, what are those giant plants? No, just poinsettias.
Just poinsettias. Just letting you know it's colder out. It's wintertime.
Yes, but move on to the real highlight of this.
The Christmas song? Oh my God. All of a sudden, I don't even know how it goes.
I did.
We're treated to a musical, basically, a song.
Right. Well, it's the guy with the heart on his chest.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And yeah, I thought for a second, I was like, I should go back and write these lyrics down. But that thought vanished immediately when I realized I'm sure it's not worth it.
Well, that thought vanished for me when first the kids start singing some cheesy song about Christmas and joy or presents or something. But then, and we're like, oh, okay, we're going to get treated to a little music time now. And then we have like 3 minutes of Orca and that big-eared owl thing dancing. Like they have a little dance number that they do, right? Like,
and I love it. I love it because there's that guy, and he's got like this lute that has like 45 strings on it. And he's like, hey, check out this new Christmas song I just wrote. And he starts singing, and the kids join in immediately.
Yeah, they know the tune. They know it well. They're going to sing it. And there's some dancing. And then there's that.
Yeah.
That's the only time He-Man and She-Ra do not sing. There's no need for that.
No.
They're there to fight battles.
Right.
Skeletor is there to find love. These guys are there for a little musical medley in the middle of our Christmas special. Because what is a Christmas special without a Christmas song, right?
And Jamie, what's the best way to break up a great Christmas song, a new Christmas song in a kids movie? The best way to break it up is with a helicopter that looks like a giant dildo flying in. That was later like a giant robot. Like a giant robot hand grabs it. Oh, I can't. Oh,
So wrong.
it is. If you have no interest in watching this, just type in. You could probably. You could probably just type in dildo copter, and you would get a picture of this. Oh man, it's crazy.
By the power of Grayskull, I don't even know.
But anyway, the pilot of this is named Hordak, who is
he's the big bad
he's like
guy. Oh no,
no,
he's like
She-Ra's villain.
Yeah,
He's She-Ra's Skeletor.
Sure.
And he grabs the children. and
Alicia and Miguel.
Are kidnapped by Hordak. Because now again, it's this giant robotic smoke monster. I don't know that we could ever cover anything this silly because we cannot keep it together.
Because when I realize sometimes the words you're saying, okay, never mind. Okay.
So the big bad guy who's like a cloud of smoke with a robot hand, he's in charge, and he's basically telling Hordak and Skeletor, go out, get these kids, I guess, bring them to me so I can kill them. I mean, that's not specifically said.
I don't think he wants any joy to be had, right? Because they're kind of, so he doesn't want, he wants to stop Christmas from happening on Eternia, so he's going to take the kids away.
Right.
That'll take their joy, right? I think? Okay.
So Hordak grabs these kids, and then the chopper is grabbed by the Monstroids.
It's the Monstroids.
It is the Monstroids.
Those are the big robot guys. Right. But then there's the
other ones are called the Man-Sheens.
They're not
called the Machines. They're the Man-Sheens to make them more human, I guess, than the Monstroids.
They're so adorable, though. They're not threatening at all. They're super playful. They have what about the one that has there's three of them. There's Cutter because he can cut. There's Zipper, who talks like Bill Cosby. He's like, well, I got this.
I was really trying to think. I was like, how do I say that he talked like a bad impression of Bill Cosby talking about pudding pops?
He does, yeah. And then there's a third one. There's three of them.
A third one? There's about 80 of them at the end.
Well, there ends up being the whole army of them come in. But
So the Monstroids, they want these kids for, I don't even know what reason. And they put them in a little prison. With Orko. He's there too, I forgot. Orko's with them. And then
he's kind of with the kids throughout this whole adventure. Right?
Yes. But they are in this prison, and and Peekaboo at this point uses her peacock vision to locate the children.
That's right.
And they are rescued by the Man-Sheens. And you're right, they look like creepy robot monsters with doll faces.
They're really cute. They're not at all threatening looking. They look like little...
They look like they're just plush. He's cutting bars to a prison with this weird...
But he's adorable while he does it. Yeah. It's really sweet. But I guess... and it's weird to think that the Transformer-looking guys are supposed to...
the Monstroids.
But they are.
Yeah, they seem to be mortal enemies where the Monstroids are like 8, 10, 20 stories tall, and these guys are smaller than He-Man. How are they enemies? Is it just because...
We don't know.
And I assume these are not He-Man things. I wonder if they're She-Ra things.
See, maybe I should know that, and I don't.
Well, you don't need to. It's okay. Nobody needs to know any of this.
No.
If you're listening and you're yelling at us for not knowing this, I'm sorry. You're a nerd.
Sorry, yeah. No, we should have done research, though.
Yeah,
If we're going to talk about it, we could have done our research.
You're right, yes.
But we didn't because we were blown away by what we saw.
By the end of this, I was too excited. I was like, I just took all these notes. I can't wait to talk about it.
So Skeletor... Oh, okay, so the...
Well, this is...
Go ahead.
The Monstroids. This is the big showdown between the Monstroids and everybody else.
And then,
because He-Man shows up along with She-Ra, and they just destroy these robots like pretty much effortlessly. And then, if they're in any little bit of trouble, this is when the rest of the Manchines come. There's like 100 of them, and there's a Manchine puppy. There's this.
Oh, yeah. A little Manchine puppy dog thing that gets involved. And somehow follows the kids.
Well, the kids, this is the first instance where He-Man's like, stay back, kids. We got this. Go stand over there with that puppy. And immediately Skeletor's like, gotcha.
These kids are just getting abducted left and right. They just can't help it. Skeletor gets them. And now they're on the road with Skeletor, who apparently has to bring them to his big evil, right?
Well,
that's where he's bringing them.
Well, Hordak and Skeletor are both working for the same big evil, but I guess it's a big competition. Like, who's going to bring these kids? Who can bring?
Sure.
Because Skeletor doesn't have these kids for 5 minutes before Hordak shows up out of nowhere and shoots him and the kids down, and they crash land in the mountains.
Oh, yeah, where it's very cold.
With the puppy. They still have that Manchine puppy with them.
Thank goodness they did. That really teared at some of the Skeletor's heartstrings, right?
Oh,
was the man,
yes.
the puppy.
Puppy kisses, of course. I don't, at this point, I don't really know what's happening with He-Man and She-Ra, and it doesn't matter. Because at this point, it is the...
We're more into Skeletor.
It is the Skeletor show from now until basically the end.
Yeah. Because we're breaking him down. He's an evil guy. I mean, he is Skeletor. Right?
Yes. He's blue, and he's buff, and he's got a
face
skull.
of a skeleton. Yeah.
A skull. And again, these kids are unfazed by any of this.
Yeah, they're not freaked out by the fact that they've been abducted several times, and now by a man who's called Skeletor, they're like, we're so cold. We can't go any further. We're just freezing.
I love how they're just talking, and the little girl just falls over into the snow, just collapses.
Ice. She's not used to these frigid temperatures. That's, again, why it's weird that Orko is so cold when he gets to Earth, but whatever. So Skeletor begins to sort of have the Grinch meets the...
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like a moment where his heart grows 5 times
surprised he wasn't
or whatever.
Cutting and serving roast beast at the end of this. I'm amazed that he was not at the Christmas party at the end of this. I wanted him there so badly at the end. I wanted Prince Adam dressed as Santa to give him a present. But the little girl passes out from hypothermia, I guess. And the little boy's like, we're so cold. And Skeletor begrudgingly uses his scepter to make, bulky George Costanza coats on them.
Yeah.
And then they're totally fine. And they're like, let's go. And
they're ready now that they're warm. They will go to wherever Skeletor needs them to go, as long as they're not cold.
And we mentioned it before, but it is... Every time they referred to him as Mr. Skeletor, it
makes you
laughing.
giggle. Yeah. They tell him a lot how nice he is for giving them the coat. Thanks, you're so nice. Oh, you help the dog. You're so nice. The dog needs your help. I am not nice. I don't like being nice to you, and I am not nice. I am Skeletor. I have the face of a skeleton. I'm not nice.
Your Skeletor impression's pretty good, because that's exactly
That's
what he
pretty
sounds
terrible.
like. No, that's not bad at all.
All right, well, thanks.
But yeah, so Skeletor kind of loves these kids.
Yeah.
As we said earlier, he loves puppy kisses. That just
Yep.
gets him.
He mouths
Oh,
up.
he also kills some sort of snow monster that comes out and threatens
Oh,
the children, and
yeah.
he kills it and falls.
The snow beast.
Yeah,
The
and
snow
it, like,
beast.
falls off a cliff to its death, and the kids are like, "Yay, Mr. Skeletor!"
It's
You
again to show that Skeletor is just there for the kids. He's just there to, right? Now, after all of this that Skeletor has really protected the children from, He-Man and She-Ra come to save the children.
It's
right?
like a big convergence, because Hordak, the She-Ra villain, is there.
yeah.
Skeletor's there with these kids. He-Man and She-Ra, they all converge into like a big final battle. And also later, Horde Prime tries to
Oh
come
yeah,
in
that's
his
right.
ship. It's a crazy fight in that
Yeah.
Hordak sends like a bunch of robots out. He-Man and She-Ra beat them up. Skeletor gets knocked unconscious somehow pretty easily.
Oh yeah.
But the puppy like
my
licks
thing.
him back to life.
It's the puppy that saves him. It's his love for the puppy, really. That's what saves him.
When Horde Prime comes in, Skeletor, fearing for these children's lives, against what he would do in any other episode of the series, like sabotages or destroys his boss's ship. So then he has to fly away. He-Man and She-Ra beat up Hordak, whatever his name is. And this is when like the kids hug Skeletor and he's so conflicted.
Yeah, because he doesn't like it. But he does. But he really does.
Oh yeah. And this is when
He
He-Man's
don't like feeling good.
and this is
He
when
says.
He-Man's like, "Don't worry, Skeletor. Christmas only comes once a year." And I'm like, he's your mortal enemy. Like, this is your chance. Just take him to
out.
prison or take him out.
Not
Yeah, you can
during-
do that too.
Not during Christmas
No.
time, though.
And this is why I'm surprised that now when we cut back to the castle, Skeletor's not there. I so wanted him to be wearing like a Santa hat and dancing around or
Aw.
something like that. But no, he's gone.
Yeah. No, not here. No Skeletor.
No.
It's the last we see of him then,
That's
right?
it.
After
Yeah.
that? That's all the bad guys. The children would get returned to their home, even though they're... Oh, well, we do get to see the children in their
Oh,
home. Not before we get to see, though, the weird Christmas celebration that happens on Eternia where the elephant face guy puts the star on the tree and the
oh yeah. What
whole character celebration that happens. So then the kids finally get returned home, and that's weird. Like their dad and
well,
their
let's not
mom.
gloss over the fact that before the kids get returned home, Man at Arms gives them flying belts.
Oh, yeah. That's right. As a little parting gift.
Right.
That's
So the
right.
kids show
And
up
that's what
back at
freaked-
home with these weird belts
Flying
and these
belts,
big bulky
that's right.
coats.
And their parents are like, "Where have you been for the past 5 days? No tree, huh?
Right.
Oh, all right. Just tell us about that planet tomorrow. You guys need some rest." Then the kids fucking flip away on their little, with their belts. And that's when the parents are like, "Where have you been?" The parents.
Those
Why does the dad? So everybody in this movie is drawn very physically fit, right? We have like abs of steel, everyone. But these children's father looks like Mario from Mario and Luigi, doesn't he? He has like a big round belly.
Oh my god, he's huge, and he's got like a big crazy mustache. That was
Like, what's going on? And he doesn't say anything. For the longest time, it's the mom that's like, "I don't know what to do. Kids are crazy. I don't know. You stay it up. You go to other planets. That's interesting." The dad says nothing.
no.
The whole time I was like, they're going to make the dad. Then finally the dad does say something. And then the parents both react when they zip zap by on their magic
It
belts.
seems
but-
irresponsible to give these
Weird.
kids this kind of technology as like a parting gift. Yeah, but you're right. That dad, oh man, maybe that's why it was so
just
jarring.
out of-
I was like, what's this big fat schlub in this weird, like, bulky sweater?
Part of me wanted to be like, this is, but when, yeah, anyway. You're right. Then our send off for this movie is a very awkward Merry Christmas. By.
Crazy awkward. Because it's like, it's almost as though he were reading this out of a book in front of fire.
It's weird because it's like you're watching a cartoon read a teleprompter.
Right.
And you know that's not what's happening.
Because he's in a big chair in front of a fire, and he kind of turns around like, hey, kids, we had a good time today. But Christmas is some pretty serious business. Because it is like, not everyone celebrates Christmas, but the spirit is blah, blah. And it just keeps going on for like 30 seconds, and then just abruptly ends, credits, He-Man, She-Ra, Christmas.
Done. Right. Oh.
I do have to say, and I know that with these bonus episodes, we certainly, we don't give recommendations. We don't really talk about our final thoughts or whether we would recommend it.
But
this was insanely enjoyable for every reason we discussed. Like,
I think the pacing of it all and if you didn't watch, you had to somehow know who He-Man and She-Ra were, right? Even if you didn't get into them. And yeah, there's a certain fun Christmas madness. I mean, is it the best Christmas cartoon out there? Absolutely not.
No.
I mean,
it's no Garfield Christmas. Let's say that.
Sure. You could say that. It's not. Yeah. But it's a fun.
And I think that's the thing that they did really well was it's like for the first 20 minutes or so, it did just feel like a bad episode of He-Man. And then once the kids were there, I was like, oh, this is a Christmas episode. Like, they're doing every stupid thing they can to make this feel, just to, like, shoehorn in Christmas nonsense and Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
And in every way, it's so wrong-headed and doesn't make any sense that it's super enjoyable to watch.
So amazing. Yeah. So awkward that it's so awesome. Yeah. And that's a He-Man, She-Ra Christmas for you.
That's it. From 1985 with two directors, of which I wrote down neither name because it doesn't matter. It's the He-Man, She-Ra Christmas. Find it. It's on YouTube. There's like 8 cuts of it on there. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for continuing to support us. There will be new content soon as we have something worthwhile. And I think our next... What did we decide our next full episode is going to be? It's like a springtime episode. Did we decide like a romance? Was that our thought? I
think
remember.
it is.
Okay.
I think it's,
All right. Yeah. So look for that. That should be fun.
That is going to be fun.
Be super fun.
Be ready.
So tell your friends to patronize us so they can listen to this nonsense. Because you guys are the only ones that get this. We are not releasing these. Even if we get desperate and we just don't feel like recording, we are not releasing these to the rest of the,
These are secret. These are high. Yeah.
These are high. These are high.
These are high. These are high episodes. These episodes are like high, good times, great oldies.
All right, everybody. We will talk to you then in a regular episode coming up pretty soon.
Get ready.
See you then.
TTGM.
TCBY, the country best yogurt.
BRB? I don't know.
Yep. Sky, fly. Take me down somewhere where it's safe.
Perfuma. All right.
Peekaboo.
Merry Christmas.
It was nice of you to save Relay, Mr. Skeletor.
I am not nice. Oh, stop that!
Do you want me to hold him?
No, we'll go faster if I carry him. But tell me more about this Christmas.
Well, it's a wonderful time of the year. one is lots of fun.
You mean they get in fights?
No, they have fun.
Fights are fun. I like fights.
And you give each other presents.
And when you open them, they explode, right?
No, they're nice gifts.
Nice. Doesn't sound like much fun to me. A snow beast. Quick, get behind me. So much for the snow beast.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Skeletor. You saved us. You really are wonderful.
Listen, I am not nice, I am not kind, and I am not wonderful. And I'm still delivering you to Horde Prime.